show, I believe that free thinking is in danger after what happened to Mr. Kirk. Um, what happened was disgusting, egregious, all of the above. And here's why I think free thinking may be in danger in our society. Um, we'll go over it here in just a little bit, but give me a few moments. Got to look something up real quick. Give me one moment. I have to some technical. I swear my laptop has been on the fritz today, and I want to apologize to everybody. But here's the thing, man. I do firmly believe that free thinking is in danger, and the reason it's in danger overall is because people are being killed for their beliefs, and when a radical group of people, first off, can't argue properly or can't critically think properly, they hate free thinkers. They hate people who think for themselves, that have their own viewpoints, because it goes against whatever collective they belong to. And it's pretty sickening. It's actually narcissistic behavior for people to do that. I really do believe we do live in a society where narcissism is enabled, because I think everybody to a degree is a narcissist. I really do. But I do believe that when social media has really amplified the narcissism, it's unlocked it within all of us, because I really do believe that most people are narcissists. I really do. Even myself, I think I have some narcissistic behaviors, but I'm aware of them and I try to actively avoid them. Because I don't want to be a narcissist. I want to actually try to help people, and that's why I stay off social media. I think it brings out the worst in people more than anything. And as you see, I mean, like these the guy, I guess, was the typical Redditor, from what I heard. Lived with the shooter. The shooter lived with. I guess, like, from what the articles have been saying, his furry boyfriend and stuff like that. He went down a rabbit hole on Reddit and stuff, and the whole thing is just a huge mess. A real huge mess, to be honest. It's crazy. Give me just a few moments, you guys. I'm sorry for all these delays. Just being a little bit slow today. Not my day. They see me grifting, they hating, patrolling, they're always trying to grift me dirty. But yeah, so the reason I think free thinking is kind of dying is because people who don't think independently tend to hate free thinkers. So the irony is, you go to college to expand your horizons. You know what I mean? To learn some new things, become proficient in something. I never did college because I thought it was a scam, but yeah, I was just never a big fan of college. The more I think about it, the more I kind of hated it. I always thought college was just kind of a waste of time. I always thought people just went there just because they had nothing better to do. It's kind of how I viewed it. Most people, I should say. There are people who actually go to college to pursue meaningful careers, like become a doctor or a lawyer, stuff like that, But I feel like overall, most degrees are useless. I really believe that. I believe wholeheartedly that the majority of college degrees are absolutely useless, absolutely stupid, have no place in society. And yeah, that's what I believe. I think I really do believe I'm glad I never went to college. I mean, I went for a semester just to try it out at my local community college, but I was like, this is stupid. What am I doing here? And I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be anything really worthwhile. So why am I here? It's like I can contribute to society in different ways. And at the end of the day, I ended up becoming a call center agent, basically, customer service rep. And from there, it just ended up, smooth sailing. And then I got fired, of course, because I argued with my bosses a little too much. Because first off, they were being dicks to me. I don't like it when people are dicks to me, especially my management team. They were just being the worst. Groypers. What is a groyper, by the way? I keep hearing the term groyper, but I have zero clue what that actually means. Can someone please enlighten me as to what a groper is? Is it a groyper or a groper? I think it's groyper. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. But rest in peace, Charlie. I mean, honestly, I think free thinking's in danger. Let's put a poll out here real quick. One moment. It's taking a few moments to write out. Sorry about that, you guys. While I'm writing it out, I mean, like... Give me a few seconds, you guys. Sorry about that. Trying to get this poll up. See, I want to make sure it looks good. Okay, here we go. So the poll question is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? So we got 8 votes already. Wow, this is pumping up. So 55% of you say yes. Well, it's fluctuating too much, but it looks like the majority of you so far are saying yes, that free thinking is in danger. And it's interesting to see how this poll... I do really want to see how this poll measures out, because I've been thinking about this. And sometimes I bring up the fall of Rome. And we could even correlate the fall of Rome to the U.S. Now, you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with the falling of free thinking? Well, honestly, any civilization, there's usually red flags. If you look at history, give me one moment. But yeah, so, we've talked about Charlie Kirk's effect on U.S. politics. What changes now? Are we even? Is anybody even safe going to a college campus? Would be another question. Like, is anybody with a differing point of view, if it differs from communism or socialism? Like, if I go to a college and start saying, you know what, I love capitalism, and communism and socialism are just bad ideas. If I went to a college, am I safe? Or is there going to be some crazy lunatic, not going to say what politics they have, but I think you can guess, who would tackle me? Yeah. And just make my life a living hell. I'm sure that would happen. I'm absolutely certain of that. Very certain. Well, maybe not completely. But I think the probability would say yes, depending on what college campus you go to. If I go to my local community college here in the Coos Bay North Bend area, which is called SWOC. I am sure. I don't know how political college kids are even at SWOC, you know? But yeah, I don't even know how indoctrinated they are in community college, but I would assume that in university, it might be pretty bad. Um, but yeah, I really do believe that free thinking is in danger right now, especially after Charlie Kirk's death, because of what happened to Charlie. It's the act that happened. And we're learning more and more about the shooter, by the way. We're learning way more, and we got gaslighted again. Of course, we get gaslighted again. We know. We found out more information, and it seems that he was not. His family was conservative, but he was not, and he was not living with his family based on a lot of these records. Now, there's more information that's going to be coming out. Obviously, there's more investigation, but there's a lot of information coming out. So, I mean, the more we look into it, the more we realize that, holy crap, we're being gaslit big time. But is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? That's the question. Well, here's the thing. And what I say by that is, if I think differently than you, and I have different opinions, and I decide to go, well, let's say I have a differing opinion than the collective over at a college campus, and I decide, I'm going to go there and speak. What are the chances of me being harmed? I've seen those Charlie Kirk videos too. Those people in those, a lot of those college students are lunatics. They are so brainwashed. And that's why I don't go to college campuses that much. It just seems like a brainwashed factory. And I'm glad I didn't go into debt to be brainwashed. I really am. You know, I've always thought differently. I always knew I would be successful. Somewhere inside of me, I always knew I'd be successful. I had a lot of people. I had a breaking point recently, and where I was like, I'm lucky that I found a woman in my life. Brittany has been amazing. She has been super supportive and understands what I'm trying to accomplish. She understands I want to do a show. She's supportive of this show. She doesn't agree with my politics, but that's okay. She's not one of the Looney Tunes, right? She's not a Looney Tune. That's the best part about her. And, she respects that I got my own personal beliefs, that she knows I would never vote Democrat, ever, even though she votes Democrat, but I don't ever shame her for it. I don't. Like, I get why some people vote Democrat. I don't know why they would in today's era. Maybe 10, 20 years ago, maybe. But nowadays, it's like the Democrat Party's lost the plot. But yeah, not a fan of what the party has become. It's become worse over time. That's the scarier part. And there's no real central leadership, and it's kind of tough to have true leadership in the Democratic Party, because they all copy each other. The problem with the Democratic Party is it's so collectivist in its root belief system that they're almost like the Borg from Star Trek. I think would be actually a good analogy. They're so intertwined. They have no real central leadership. Now, I'm not talking about when they introduced the Borg Queen. I'm talking about the way the Borg were written in early Next Generation. So, what I'm trying to get at with this analogy, it's a little bit of a stretch. It might be a stretch, but it also does make some sense, a semblance of sense, that if you think about it, what are we experiencing here? It's a collective with no real leadership, but a but a centralized purpose. And usually there are directives that are being sent into the collective, but the collective will follow anything if it has the proper labeling. Even things that are completely absurd, which is why I don't believe in relying on the group to think for me. Independent free thinking is the key to our society. It's one of the best things about this society. And you should, and he was martyred, because really what a martyr is at the end of the day is somebody who's killed for their beliefs. That's wrong. It doesn't matter whether it's religious or just personal. People should be able to have their own belief systems. Their own. I feel like I'm sounding like Captain Kirk a little bit, but I don't know. This is the way I see it, at least. And we're going down a real slippery slope. I'll say that. But, and it just sucks for his family. I think what I'm really distraught about is just how much his family has had to suffer throughout all this. It's beyond messed up. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird what's happening. So let's take a look at the poll real quick. So just make sure you guys subscribe. We really appreciate all subscriptions here, because the more subscribers we get, the more this show can reach a wider range of people, and that really is the key, to reach as many people as we can. Oh, I could actually shrink this. Nice. I didn't realize I could shrink this down. See, this is how much of an old man I am and why I shouldn't be using smartphones. I may be 37, but I swear I'm like probably 70 in principle. There we go. Okay, so you guys can still see the poll, obviously. But yeah, overall, I think one could say that free thinking just appears to be in danger. There we go. So the more votes we get, the better on this one. But yeah, at the end of the day, it all bums me out, But I can't believe we got 220 votes on this. Yeah, 61% of you say yes, free thinking's in danger. And it is. Especially when people, when there is a group of people out there that are really pushing for this, that really are that desensitized, they're like so desensitized that they were laughing and mocking the man. I think that's what weirds me out the most. Because when I hear about death in the news, I don't think that person deserved it. That's like the last thing I could say. I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand how somebody could just be happy or giddy about just hearing about death. It's like, dude, no. It doesn't matter who it is. Maybe it does. I mean, if they've actually done heinous crimes, okay, that's one thing. Like, for instance, I can understand if, like, somebody who actually has committed crimes, real crimes, not thought crimes. This is so funny. The only crime Charlie committed was being a free thinker who thought differently than the collective. And tell me why that's wrong. Tell me where and who he actually hurt. Because here's the thing. words don't have any power except for the power that you give them. So I could say any word right now, but if you choose to give my words power, that is your choice. You don't have to. Words are words. Actions are totally different. And if you can't figure out those logistics, I'm sorry. Maybe you're just a broken person. I don't know. Tish says, I loved Tom McDonald's tribute song he made for Charlie Kirk. I still haven't listened to it. I'll have to check it out when I got a moment, though. But yeah, free thinking matters, and it's astonishing to me that we're living in a society where people are giddy and happy about somebody being shot. It's sick. And we become so desensitized to it. I don't know if we could blame excessive social media use, the quick dopamine rush that you get when you go on the TikTok or when you go on Instagram. There are things that you get on that just, you know what I mean? But whatever. Trying to fix this a little bit. There we go. So I guess it's still just a little bit stunning to me. You know what I mean? But like I always say, it's the power that one gives words. But at the end of the day, it is truly the actions that matter the most. Let's see. Gravity is wrong. So I gave $1.99. Thank you. God damn it. I will say that Newton's meaning behind gravity was actually wrong. I will say that the actual truth behind gravity is spatial bending. But let's see. The Bible says thought, word, action are the same. That I just can't get behind that. I just can't. I know the Bible says that, but I just can't get behind that philosophy. Words are different. Now, I know it's the power that you give the words, right? So if I say some think of the most heinous things I could tell you guys, right? All the heinous, terrible things I could just tell you guys right now, right? It might make you feel bad, but at the same time, I told you how I felt, made you probably feel bad, but you allowed those words to have power over you in that hypothetical scenario, right? So, where does it go from there? So words really are different. Actions matter most. Let's just say somebody in the chat decided to actually inflict real harm on me. I'm not going to say the type of harm, but actual violence, right? And words are not violence, by the way. Anybody who believes that is just honestly a buffoon. Words do not equal actions. They are not the same. It's gotta be. I know that ideas, for instance, can change the world, but it is up to each of us to either give those ideas power or not. Yes, there are certain risks to living in a society of free thinking, right? There are. I think Charlie also knew those risks too. I think Charlie knew that bad things could happen to him. And that's the worst part about it. But the point I'm trying to make is they shouldn't. It shouldn't have to be that way. But unfortunately it is. And I don't know what to do about it. But there is a grave difference between words and actions. That is logic, my friends. And if you don't know the difference between the two, then I am sorry. Because a word is just a word. An idea is just an idea until it's acted upon. Now, if you act upon it, if you act upon a thought or a feeling, that's totally different. But if you say what you're feeling, that may also prevent you from doing it. This is why freedom of speech is so important. It's good to let out things. It's good to say what you're feeling. It's good to think. And thinking is important, especially independent thinking. I think the independent thinking in our society has gone completely, it's dead. And I don't want to admit that. As somebody who loves to read books, you know, I read some cheesy books, by the way. Here's a couple examples of books I read. I got like Dean Graziosi's Totally Fulfilled. It's a little cheesy, but it's a good book. A little older. And then we got like High Performance Habits, books like this, right? It's just, and I take the information in and I think about what it means. How do I utilize it? I take notes, but I'm thinking. I may be thinking about other people's ideas in words, but at the end of the day, the contents in those are just ideas in words. Now, they're not actions, but they're ideas. And ideas are only harmful if there are harmful people who want to use those ideas as an action. So it's never really the idea's fault. It is never the word's fault. It is the individual who takes the action or sets the, you know what I mean? That does the thing. You know the thing. That's what Joe Biden would say. But I'm very passionate about free thinking. I'm very passionate about independence and freedom. And I think it's lost upon our society. I think we're so busy wanting to be comfortable that we have failed to notice what really matters most. And that is free thinking. Free thinking matters. But thank you for the super chat, my man. I know I disagreed with the super chat, but I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. But I do believe in a sense, I'm going to actually answer Eric's question because it's a good one. It's a good one. So by that logic, no politician is responsible for any of their words because none of it is actionable. Sure. I mean, it just depends on what action they're really taking. I think that you could say whatever you want, but what you do, the actions you take are more important and more telling. Instead of, I mean, here's the thing, you can judge somebody by their thoughts in the things they say, absolutely. You can, but you can't, you could judge them, but you can't be the executioner. At least you shouldn't be. And if you do try to be the executioner, you deserve to be punished for being the executioner. But you can be the judge, you can't be the jury, and you can't be the executioner. The problem is the modern left wants to be all three, and it should not be allowed. Look, you guys obviously all in the chat, you judge me. You judge me all the time. I am okay with that because I don't want to control you. That's the difference. I don't want to control anybody except for myself. I want to be in full control of me. All I know is how I can respond. I don't believe that controlling other people does any good in the long run anyway. Because when you try to control others, I mean, they just turn on you eventually. It's just a matter of time. So that's why I've never understood the need to control people. I like persuading people. I think persuasion's fun. You know, like, hey, do you want to buy this cell phone or this cell phone case or whatever? You know, selling's fun, sure. But here's the thing. If people are being killed, if people are being executed for their words, that's a line too far. That's a line too far crossed. You could judge somebody for their words, sure. You could be like, so like if I come up to you, like I'm acting like I'm hot shit, right? And I'm like, yo, what up, dog? Yo, yo, yo. And you could be like, dude, that guy's a tool. I don't want to hang out with him. You can judge me. But you can't just execute me. It's wrong. Judging's fine. Judgment's fine. You can make whatever judgment. But you're just the judge. You're not the jury. You're not the executioner. This is the place in which we need to realize. People are taking it upon themselves to be the executioner with the axe. And I say it's wrong. It's wrong. All because someone said something. It doesn't matter what you say, by the way. You can say whatever you want, but you do not deserve to be executed for what you say. For what you do, sure, but not by the public. There still needs to be due process. That's why it exists. Because the reason due process exists is because people back in the day got together in mob rule and they raised their pitchforks and hunted witches and hunted people and all sorts of things, all because they were different. And what we're seeing now is a hunting. People, wake the hell up. It's wrong. So, actions are different than words. And if you're going to execute somebody for using his words, by the way, and be happy, I can't believe people are happy about it. Now, I will admit, I am judging very hard the people who are reacting the way they're reacting to Charlie's death. I am judging you very hard. But I will never, and I mean never, I will never try to do any harm to you. Ever, ever, ever. Never, ever. Because it's wrong. And you know it's wrong. And it saddens me to this day. Gravity is wrong as saying Kirk was deeply hateful, harming for you. What? This is a deeply hateful person. Okay, let's just say Charlie was a deeply hateful. Let's just say you're right. Okay, let's say Charlie was a deeply hateful person. Did he deserve to be executed for being a hateful person? You can be hateful. It's not an action, by the way. For instance, if I wanted to, I could hate you, but I'm not taking any action against you. I just have a personal preference. What if I was hateful, right? Do I deserve to be executed for having hateful feelings? I'm not really hateful, but it's a hypothetical. People who think can think in hypotheticals. Gravity is wrong says no one should be harmed for speech. Exactly, and no one should be harmed for how they feel either. Do you see what I'm saying? So people trying to justify and excuse the killing of a good person. And you can say he's hateful. I don't really give a crap. I know better because I've watched enough of his stuff. Yeah, probably he had a little tinge of hate every now and then because he's like, oh God, I would feel kind of resentful if I had to talk to college kids all day. Screw that. College kids are stupid as shit. But whatever. That's just my belief. Look, there's a lot of chats coming through. I'm just going to say this right now. There's probably far too many for me to keep track of. So honestly, this is why I have to have super chats enabled. So if you guys can, try to do super chats. It does help the channel grow. Also, I get to read it aloud, which I enjoy reading things aloud. It allows for highlighting. I'll even post a little statement on there. But yeah, the major question here is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? Look, if somebody's hateful, that's actually not... Why is it a big deal? If somebody's hateful or loving... Do they do anything terrible, though? Because you could still be a hateful person and still not do anything terrible. I see plenty of them. Actually, take a look at this. So it's funny. The people who are so angry about all this, like, I'll give you an example. So you're saying that Charlie was hateful. Okay. Can you please elaborate on that? Because I have experienced nothing but hate on my chat from the people who think this is a good thing. So how are any of you people in the chat any different than Charlie Kirk? In fact, if anything, you might be the same. You're all a bunch of hateful curmudgeons, if we're going to say that. I think Charlie's the man, by the way. But let's just say you're right. Let's say he was. Who the hell cares? Let's say he was saying hateful things. Whoop-de-doo! Who cares? If he's saying hateful things, combat the speech with better speech. This is why we have a free marketplace of ideas. I don't want to talk down to you guys. I really don't want to talk down to anybody. But free marketplace of ideas matters. So if an idea is bad, combat the idea with a good one, because the free marketplace of ideas will replace crappy ideas with good ones. It's simple, and yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I'm actually getting through to anybody, but this whole mess has been getting me all jumbled up in the head, man. This whole mess. But this is why I think college kids are the worst, because they don't have any real life experience. Their brains are still developing. So it's like college kids are not the best people, in my opinion, to talk to. But he definitely persuaded the youth to vote for Donald Trump. Hell yeah. But at the end of the day, it was the youth who made their choice. People took the action to go and vote. What I'm trying to say is actions. There's no such thing as a dangerous idea. I firmly believe that. There's just such thing as dangerous people who take actions upon those ideas. I really firmly believe that we can live in a world where dangerous ideas are out there. That's okay. What I'm trying to say is there is a difference between dangerous actions and dangerous ideas, right? People need to figure out those two differences. And when you say that words are the same as actions, I can't. That just blows my mind that you don't understand the logic of how the world. You just don't understand the logic of words versus actions. It's a simple thing. If I say, let's say I do say something mean to you, whoever you may be out there. Let's say I did say something mean, right? It's not the same as me doing something terrible to you. It really isn't. Like if I punch you, that is a bad thing. If I say something mean to you, it sucks. Probably feel bad, but no harm. There is a difference. And also, by the way, words are just words. We can't. Here's the thing. Society starts to crumble when we can't tell the difference between actions and words, because we as a society have gotten too stupid for our own good. That's just the truth. And if you think that executing somebody for their ideas is righteous, then Charlie was right. We are living in societal decay. And I will fight that decay to the best of my ability. And by fighting it, I mean just really give out better ideas than the ideas that are being presented by all the buffoons. And look, I'm an idea guy. At the end of the day, I do see myself as a philosopher and a free thinker. I don't really think I'm an intellectual because I'm kind of lowbrow and kind of a dummy. But I do see myself as a free thinker. And I am somebody, you know. But hey, but the problem is too many people, you know, it's just, we live in a weird world, man. We live in a world where, and here's the thing, if I don't like somebody, if somebody's saying hurtful things to me, I can walk away, by the way. I can. But if somebody commits a violent act towards me, there's other processes that are going to go into that. I'm going to have to either probably go to the hospital or maybe I'll wind up dead. You know what I mean? There's a difference between saying what I want to say and doing what I want to do. It's totally different. And anybody with half a brain can understand that, right? There's no such thing as dangerous ideas, just dangerous people implementing those stupid ideas, right? So I do believe by the way, I do believe there are stupid ideas, by the way. I believe there are ineffective ideas. They should still exist and still be out there to be discovered and read about. Like, I'll give you an example. I think communism might be the stupidest idea ever invented by man, and I think Karl Marx is a fake intellectual. I really believe that. I think Karl Marx is a freaking moron. And because I think redistribution of wealth might be the dumbest idea in the world. I really do. I think redistribution of wealth is idiotic to its core, and it makes zero sense to me. Like, I've studied it, and the more I study it, like, I don't understand how people can get behind a stupid idea like communism. And then there's ideas like capitalism, which I don't think capitalism is a bad idea. There are some, obviously no system is perfect. But I will tell you what, if I had two choices, communist society or a capitalist-based society, I'm going to choose capitalist any day of the week, because communism has failed time and time and time again. It doesn't work. It forces everybody to be the same. It forces everybody to think the same. So I would choose capitalism any day, because a capitalist-based society that gives people freedom as well is a lot better. And I do believe there should be some safeguards, social safeguards. That matters. Those things do matter. But no, we're living in a very strange time, people. Very strange. But yeah, but I do believe that public schools have been a real stain on society. I went to public school, and I could vouch that. I mean, luckily, I was always good at learning things on my own. But for those who are not, public school sucks, because you're getting indoctrinated and into stupid ideas. And when I was younger, I thought a lot of my teachers were annoying communists, and I really did. I thought they were fucking dumb. And my hatred for communism started really, really early. My disdain for bad ideas like communism. Now, look, I don't want it to be censored. Here's what I'm trying to get at. I think ideas should be criticized, but they should never be censored. Criticism's good. Skepticism is good. In fact, skepticism is the basis of science, if you think about it. Science is the art of skepticism, because you have to be skeptical of the results. That's why they do the experiments over and over and over, to make sure the result is the same. Because that's skepticism. Anyway, let's see here. Life After Science gave a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, dangerous people are a product of the ultra elite keeping us divided, so their pockets get fatter, remove themselves from the echo chambers, and discuss. Oh, remove yourselves from the echo chambers and discuss. Interesting. I do want to respond to that, actually. I want to give you an actual, legit, text response. I love responding in texts as well. I'll actually type aloud, laugh out loud. But let's see here. I definitely see your point. But I do believe it's important to learn from individuals, not groups. So I think the problem is, and one thing I hate about, there's one concept in the world I hate the most, and that's the concept of teamwork. I hate teamwork. You're probably wondering, why does this guy hate teamwork? What is wrong with him? But I like individuals, right? I don't really care what a group says. If a group of people tell me what to do, I'm gonna flip them the bird, and tell them that they're all brainwashed and they all wear the same clothes and hats. The problem, here's the thing, I like independent thinkers. I'll pull this book back up. This guy's an independent thinker. He's a little hokey, but he's had a lot of mentors, a lot of individuals give him insight on the world and teach him a few things, right? I like individuals who think for themselves but who've used their experience to come up with good books. And then I can think on those books. It's almost like a one-on-one with somebody, right? It's kind of cool. That's why I'm a huge fan of reading for information, not for pleasure. Like, I'm one of those guys that when I read a book, I read for information primarily and not for pleasure. I think actually, it's funny, reading for information is actually more pleasurable for me. So, in a sense, I guess I am reading for pleasure because I'm, so it kind of leads to the same diff, I found a hole in my logic. Nice. That's another thing. It's actually kind of fun. You see, I have no real ego. Like, I do have a little bit of an ego, don't get me wrong, but I like to make fun of myself a lot. So, and Tish says you're intelligent and want to learn. Exactly, Tish. That's the thing. I am always learning. And here's the thing, man. I've got a lot of good role models in my life. I'm not going to tell you guys my exact date. Well, screw it. Let's just say I'm 40, right? But I've had a lot of good role models in my life. And I've also had a lot of bad role models too. Don't get me wrong. I love my parents, but they're not good role models growing up. But, I had to find my role models elsewhere. And it was a good thing. Because if I relied on my parents as role models, well, I'd be screwed. I would not be half as successful. I've had, like I said, role models like this dude. Dean Graziosi, an incredible dude. Tony Robbins. T. Harv Eker. I've had a lot of good guys. Jim Rohn. You name it, man. Dudes who really paved a way for me. Who helped me pave a way. And I'm telling you, man, just like Isaac Newton said about all of his mentors, which, by the way, he never really got to meet. But Isaac Newton was basically saying, look, I am just a man standing on the shoulder of giants. Because he was using the works of men who had died a long time ago and expanded upon their works as well. And it's just beautiful, man. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Isaac Newton. I always thought he was a very interesting. He's one person. If I had the opportunity to bring somebody from the past to the future and it wouldn't affect anything negatively, it would definitely be Isaac Newton for sure. But he did say that he was standing upon the shoulders of giants, and like guys like Socrates, Plato, you name it. People like Greek mathematicians, for example, were his idols, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. But I think that putting this stuff out into the ether, these ideas, these thoughts, really helps in some way. Because we as a society have lost the plot to some degree. Think about it. We're losing the idea. We're not able to distinguish. I feel like a lot of people aren't even really able to distinguish reality from fantasy anymore. Like, that's a scary thought. Like, I feel if you get so drenched in things that give you a cheap rush of dopamine, I feel like it desensitizes you to the world, which is one of the reasons I stay off social media. Now, don't get me wrong, I love going on YouTube. It is I like to create stuff on YouTube, obviously, but I do watch YouTube videos because, one, it's free. One, I learn a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, I'm slamming this root beer, man. It's a zero sugar Barks root beer. Get it? Drop it like it's hot. Let's see. But yeah, let's just say we're living in some interesting times. And I I don't know if there's really truly a way to fix the times that we're in. So excessive individualism is a delusion you have. We are social creatures. Absolutely. And I, believe it or not, I still socialize. It's not like I just sit alone in a cave. You could still be an individual and not give in to the stupidity of collectivism. That's the point I'm trying to make. I have friends. I talk to those friends. I talk to my family. But I'm still, at the end of the day, my own independent person with my own independent thoughts. I don't like to take on the thoughts of my neighbors. I don't like to take on the thoughts of my friends as much as I love them. I love everybody around me, for the most part, you know. But I cannot take on their identity or their thoughts if if they're not really thoughts I want to get behind. I mean, obviously, everybody in my life has pretty damn similar values to me. Try to be a healer, heal the world if you can. I know not everybody sees it that way. I don't think a lot of, not everybody sees the world in that way where they want to try to heal the world instead of just be a pessimist about it. It seems in today's age there are a lot more people that want to see the world burn, and maybe that ratio of people has always existed, and maybe it's just been more amplified with social media. It's a sad one, man. This is fun though. It's fun talking about free thinking, man. I'm just obsessed with it. I just don't believe in policing thought or policing speech. I just think it's the stupidest thing in the world. So many people want to tell people how to think, and it's disgusting. Interesting. All right, sorry about that. I will say though, it is shocking the amount of people who think that my ideas are crazy. When did we live in a world where words and actions were the same? I'm gonna jump back to that because I feel like we didn't fully elaborate on that. But I guess I'm more bewildered than anything. It's just shocking to me that we live in such a state of delusion that words seem to have, people see words as actions. I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, I think we all know that that's insane. That is a level of insanity. And that's what blows my mind. I don't know if we just live in this, maybe we live in the softest of times, Maybe times are too easy. Maybe maybe everything's just too easy for us. It's so easy that we need something. We need a predator. And that predator, in most people's minds, because their lives are so easy, are words, not actions, surprisingly. You'd think that actions would matter more in the grand scheme of things. But somehow words sounds kind of lazy to me, if you ask me. It sounds like you guys are just intellectually lazy. And critical thinking is more than just analyzing something. It's coming up, it's really putting things together, using forms of logic, using a little imagination, and really coming up with your own conclusion to something. Don't know if I'm necessarily getting through to anybody, but I gotta admit, this is very entertaining. Wow, we got 618 votes in the poll. Interesting. So the question is, and we're going to harp back to the question here, is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? 58% of you say yes, 32% of you say no, 10% of you are unsure. Interesting. I feel like I kind of talk like Chris Hansen a little bit, like, hello, what do you think you're doing here? Yeah, I don't know. Talking like Chris Hansen's fun. Oh. All right. But yeah, critical thinking is in decline. Look, I'm not saying I'm the best at critical thinking, you know? It's not a competition. But can we get back to a place where it's okay to critically think, you know, actually come up with my own judgments on something, you know? I think it's weird because we're living in a world where if you don't agree with something, people actually think they could be the executioner, and that's disgusting. That's wrong. Sorry. You're not the executioner. And if you are, you have to pay the consequences. Now, if you guys have anything you'd like to say in the super chats, I've been kind of avoiding reading the chats because there's just a lot of haters. A lot of people have been very hateful towards Charlie, and it's just it's disgusting. I don't like it. It makes me feel extremely sad. Actually, just the level of sadness that I'm having trouble dealing with. Let's see. Tishley says you're not going to get through to people who are sincerely they're selfish as empty shells and not souls. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Tish, on that one. But we really got, we might be able to get to 1,000 votes on this poll, by the way. If we get to 1,000 votes on this poll, by the way, I'm stoked about that. So like I said, the question is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? And like I said, 57% of you are saying yes, 33% are saying no, 10% are unsure. It's getting to that point. I don't know. How long can we keep a poll going for? I think we can keep the poll going for as long as we really want. Hopefully. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for the super chats. We'll go back to the. I'm gonna give a little recognition one more time to all the people who've given super chats tonight. We got 2. Gravity is wrong. Gave $1.99, and I'm assuming this is a he. The Bible says thought, word, action are the same. I don't believe that at all, but I'm glad you're able to get that thought out there, man. So make sure you guys subscribe to this guy's channel, Gravity is Wrong. If you guys want to see more of his comments or whatever he posts. And then, of course, there's Life. I thought this was Life After Science, but I totally had a dyslexic moment, and it's actually Life After Silence. So he gave $5 earlier, and he said dangerous people are a product of the ultra elite keeping us divided so their pockets get fatter. Remove yourselves from the echo chamber and discuss. I want to just harp back on that super chat. So I really want to say thank you, Life After Silence and Gravity is Wrong, to both of you guys. Really thank you for the super chats. Let's get back to the show. Okay. So we got 691 votes. It's really kind of clear that, 1 out of 10 people in this poll believe that, well, they're just kind of unsure. They're just not too sure. Is it in danger? And then there's basically, I would say probably, it's like 3 out of 10 of you believe, well, maybe we'll round it up. We'll say 4 out of 10 of you for the most part. Believe that no, it's not in any danger at all. And then virtually 6 out of 10 of you guys, I'm just rounded up on the percentages, but 6 out of 10 of you guys believe that free thinking is in danger. And I hate to admit it, but I think you guys might be right. And the reason that free thinking is in danger is because now people feel, it seems, based on my analysis, that people feel like they can be the executioner. And that's not the way it should be. Look, you can judge people. That's okay. Because judgment is usually a thought, or you're just like, ooh, gross, but you're not actually doing anything about it. Now, when you start acting as the jury and the executioner, that's where we got to draw the line. We live in a world full of people who think differently. No one person, first off, even has the same, no one person collectively has the same belief system. Like within me, all of my values and all of my thoughts are actually very unique to me. I'd be very hard pressed to see if there's one person who is exactly like me in all my tastes, all my thoughts. It's very rare. I don't even know if it's possible. So there is a uniqueness to the world, but we don't need to find common ground. This is the one thing that, if we're going to have a grinds my gears segment, it's starting now. What really grinds my gears is everybody who says that we need to find common ground with each other. No, we don't. The only common ground we need to know is that we're bipeds. We're human beings. That's good enough for me. Other than that, I don't really care if you think differently than me. Even if you weren't. Who cares? You're still a life form. But stop trying to find common ground. Common ground is so ridiculous. Nobody needs to find common ground with each other at all. In fact, it's probably the one thing that divides us most are the people who try to find common ground. But if we can't find but here's the thing that's so funny. Those people who always say, we gotta find the common ground. Ooh. When they can't find any common ground with you, then they see you as the enemy, and then they become terrible people to you. Right? Yeah. That's just the logic of it, man. So, be wary of the people who say, we gotta find the common ground. No, we don't. Why do we need to find common ground with each other? That's not necessary, ever. And I think it's kind of the dumbest thing that's ever come out of this century, is the need to find similarities. I'm sorry, we're human beings. I think that's good enough. Let's see. Thank you to the YouTuber Me Mine. Once again, they're called Me Mine. They gave a $5 super chat. Muchos gracias. Saying, don't worry about those making fun of Charlie. They are turd. They are, poop emojiing themselves. I think we know what they're trying to say. Themselves, wondering if they will still be employed tomorrow for their disgusting posts. True. Luckily, I don't have a boss anymore. But yeah, these people are pretty heartless, and I have no respect for any of these people in the chat that are celebrating his death. See if I post that in time. Did I post it in time? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So I replied to the chat. So my response to mine, thank you again for that super chat, by the way. My response was, luckily I don't have a boss anymore, lol. But yeah, these people are pretty heartless, and I have no respect for any of these people in the chat that are celebrating his death. I just can't respect any of you guys. Look, people who are celebrating another man's death for thinking differently than you, you literally are defining what a martyr is. He was killed for having beliefs that were different and spreading his ideas. Whoop-de-doo, he spread ideas. And you know what? A lot of people agreed with his ideas. Interesting. I'm not saying that all of his ideas are right. But in the free marketplace of ideas, let's say Charlie's ideas were bad, right? This is where freedom of speech comes in. If you think his ideas are trash, combat his ideas with better ideas, right? It's simple. And his ideas were not even that radical. People saying that he was a hateful person, I didn't see that. He did have some, views that seemed a little harsh, I'll admit. But everybody's got harsh views. Like, why is this a big deal? And besides, by the way, honestly, I think a lot of the people on here who are hating and celebrating his death, I think they're just showing their true colors. They're just showing how rotten they are to the core. So if you're celebrating this man's death for believing whatever he wanted to believe and saying whatever he wanted to believe, you're rotten to the core. And if you saw that video and you celebrated his death, I'm judging you. I'm judging you. Hard. But I'm not. But here's the difference. I will judge you, but I will never act as the executioner. I will never act as the jury. But I will, as an individual, judge those with a little bit of a sneer, by the way. Those who are celebrating this man's death, all I got to say is keep spreading your hate. I love how all these people who are celebrating his death are saying, like, he spread hatred and all this shit. First off, you guys are spreading hatred in my chat. The same people who are saying that Charlie spread hatred, the same people are calling me fat boy or lard ass. You guys are terrible people, and you're projecting. Because Charlie was actually a good guy. You people who are celebrating his death in the chat, you're bad guys. I want to make that very freaking simple for you. I did see my boy Jordan, who goes my nobody on here. I did see my boy. I got into such a heavy rant that I kind of missed him in the chat. Hold on. We got so many people chatting in. Hold on. So my boy Nobody said, Sup, Mr. Nawatney. It's good to see you, brother. But my boy Jordan is in the chat. I've known him since I was a kid, basically. I think since basically middle school, I believe. Friend of my brother's originally, and it's just always fun to talk to him. I always enjoy a little bit of back and forth with my boy here. Anyway, though, hey guys, by the way, subscribe to actually let me put this out real quick. Sub to @nobody. They put nobody has spoken. Okay, I don't think it should be @nobody has spoken. That should be the one. And but yeah, no, honestly, it's cool to see Jordan in the chat, man. I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope things have been going really well. I've been really focusing on mainly DoorDash and the YouTube channel. Nobody at okay. I forgot the caps. My bad. but but yeah, I've been really focusing on the YouTube channel, doing more virtual lives. I decided I was like, you know what? I mean, my subscriber growth has become exponential because of this, and I am very happy about it. So, but talking about Charlie has been just ever since Charlie passed away. No, Charlie was killed. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I'm saying passed away at this point. Since he was brutally murdered, I feel it's time to have these tough conversations about where the world is actually heading. Are we all going to be executed for having ideas that are different than the collective? Are leftists going to continue to act like the Borg from Star Trek? Probably. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. My boy Nobody says, I made a Charlie video today. People even wanted his what? Oh, I'm sorry. I read that. I can't even read all the way because of how people. Oh, dude. Yeah, we're dealing with deranged people. They wanted his children. What? That makes me fucking angry. Like, I'm gonna have a meltdown. Like, why? Why would they do that? Why would they want that? Yeah, you know what? Charlie was right. There is a societal decay. Holy crap. That's stunning to me. That's weird. That blows my mind. Nobody says it. They're asking for Asmongold to be next to. What is wrong with people? So let me get this straight. People spread their own beliefs, no matter, even if the beliefs are heinous, by the way. Let's say the beliefs are rotten to the core. People deserve to say whatever they want, to have whatever beliefs they want. If they want to say it out loud to the world, good. But the fact that people are being, like, what is, you know what they need to do? I'm frustrated. You know what? I think this is the moment that I go full mega. This is the moment. Because I am not going to live in a world where people get executed by other people for having thoughts and feelings that are different than the collective. How? But when you mentioned that people were actually wanting his children to be next, why? Why? I'll admit it. I'll admit this. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. I'm pretty agnostic if we're gonna be honest. But you could still be agnostic. I'm not atheist by any means either, but I'm agnostic. I just don't know if there's creative design, intelligent design or chaotic design. I'm not sure. I just don't know. It's tough for me to have faith. I'm just not one of those people that has a lot of faith sometimes. Maybe it's because I'm a natural skeptic. But when my boy Nobody told me that, I almost want to cry. I'm trying to hold back every form of tears right now, knowing that people would have went after his kids. That they want to, really? Like, You know? Sometimes when there's no other choice, you just have to push through. I really could use some words of wisdom by now, because it's just, you know, you would think Americans would respect people's right to have ideas that are unpopular. That's what freedom of speech was created for, by the way. Freedom of speech was actually meant to protect speech that was unpopular in the beginning, because, you know, popular speech doesn't need protecting, because if it's popular, everybody's on board. But if it's unpopular speech, usually people get their pitchforks out and like, let's kill him. It's disgusting. And freedom of speech is awesome, by the way. I'm a freedom of speech fundamentalist. At the end of the day, I don't believe there's such thing as a dangerous idea. I believe there's just dangerous people out there that implement either good or bad ideas, depending on how they do it. There's just crappy people committing crappy actions at the end of the day. So we need to start focusing as a society on people who are doing crappy things. And we need to combat those things by doing good things. We need to do good things. It starts with me too. You know, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not a hypocrite in this. It starts with all of us. It starts with all of us looking inward into ourselves and thinking, what can I do to make the world a better place? And honestly, John F. Kennedy said it best. I think it was John F. Kennedy who said, it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. It's a poor imitation, by the way, but it means something. So it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. And what that means is, you can't just expect to be given everything, because that's just not how the world works. You have to put out the effort. You have to give to some degree, if that makes sense. Anyway, nobody says churches broke records with how many people went to service today because of his death. Wow. I'm still not much of a church guy. I don't really like crowds of people, but it's still tough. And this whole thing's just been weird to me. Nobody said the First Amendment was to protect the speech people don't like. There is a group of people I know gathering lists and getting people fired. First Amendment doesn't protect you from consequences. Sure. But like, I'm talking about from like being harmed. You shouldn't be harmed for your beliefs. You just shouldn't. I mean, like, people shouldn't, it should not be normalized to execute people for speaking their truth. And but there are consequences to actions. There should be. Major in the law. The person who killed Charlie, I can't legally obviously say anything specific, but what they did was just wrong. So we got Cypher Solutions. Oh, here we go. $4.99. Hold on, there we go. Thank you, Cypher Solutions, for the $4.99 super chat. Really helpful. I appreciate that, big dog. So Cypher Solutions is saying, he's saying, shut up. How do you clowns go from 20 to 200? This is happening because of Bitcoin. What? Love you, dude. But I have no clue what the F you are talking about. I do enjoy Cypher Solutions, though. I do think he gets a little out of hand, but see, this is why See, this is why I don't ban anybody, because it's even the wild chatters are very entertaining. They're very fun to talk to, even if they're not making a lot of sense. It is fun to decipher what people are trying to say, though, I will admit. Yeah, but thank you everybody for the contributions tonight. Hell yeah. Well, kicking butt today. JD Vance is hosting Charlie's show. Maybe that would, I think that the Charlie Kirk show, that's an interesting format. Basically have prominent free thinkers, prominent conservatives guest host the show. Okay, so you know how most podcasts will have a guest come in and talk to the host? Well, the Charlie Kirk show can now just be the guest is the host. And that's an interesting concept, for sure. That's fascinating. So if JD Vance is hosting, that's kind of cool. But what I'm trying to say is that every single day, because there could be a wait list of people who get to host the show, every day is a different host for the Charlie Kirk show. And that would be interesting. Speaking on their own beliefs, taking phone calls from the people calling in, I think that would be very, very worthwhile. And I think Charlie would actually get a kick out of that. Nobody says he's only hosting tomorrow. Yes, Sam. But yeah, dude, I love JD Vance. I don't know why JD gets a lot of flack. I don't think he's really that bad of a guy. I think he's fascinating. Give me one moment, folks. I do need to... Do you guys want to watch me clip my nails live on air? One moment. Hold on. Clipping my nails. See? I'll be right back. BRB. There we go. Yeah, I had to clip my nails. I realized they were getting a little bit long. Like my dong. If you guys have any pressing questions, I will gladly answer some of these questions. But if you guys want to know the answer to those questions, it's called a super chat. Boom. So we have 963 votes on this one. So is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? That is the pressing question at the moment. And 56% of you say yes. 33% of you say no. 10% of you say unsure. Heck yeah. But yeah, I would love to see a stop to a lot of the violence. It's just, I don't like violence, man. I think that at the end of the day, there's just really no reason for it. If you guys want me to answer the question, you gotta give me a super chat. I will only ask it. I will only answer the question in the form of a super chat. I only measure butt to tip. So I want to let you know, when I measure my schlangus size, I measure from butt to tip, just like my boy Andrew Russo. So. Yeah, people honestly, I hate the fact that everybody, it's wild that everybody's hating on Charlie. Like, what did he do to you besides have ideas that you disagree with? Was he a little preachy about the Bible? Like, sure, he was a little, definitely preached like Christianity, wasn't it? He was not a fan of abortion at all. He's, But yeah, I'm definitely going to. I'm proud to say that, even though even though I'm not really a conservative, I'm going to say I am at this point. I'm really not. I'm a free thinker, but just to make you guys mad, I'm going to say I'm a conservative. I'm really more of a classic liberal. I believe in free speech and stuff like that. Let's see. Nobody said his sin was that he handed people microphones to openly express their beliefs in an honest debate. How dare exactly how dare Charlie do that? How dare he? How dare you? How dare you? I'm triggered. That was the worst O face. I feel like that face might be pretty haunting, and I'm sorry if I disturbed anybody. But I had to do that creepy. But yeah, no, exactly. Like the only thing, exactly my point. Nobody. He never, like you said, the only thing he was guilty of was just letting people express themselves, and he debated them in the best way he could. He tried to use facts. He tried to use logic. He just loved debating. And at the end of the day, nobody was ever harmed. Nobody, because the only thing I think that was bruised were egos, because a lot of these college kids seem to have a lot of arrogance, but no intelligence. That's what I noticed about college kids. They're full of arrogance, but zero intelligence almost. Just because you go to college does not mean you're remotely intelligent. I just want to remind everybody that. So nobody says if you don't like people's ideas, then vote for people that are against them. Exactly. Here's the thing. We live in a free marketplace of ideas. So if a bad idea, if there's an idea that sucks, it will be taken out eventually. A bad idea will be replaced by an even better one. That's the whole point. That's why debate is necessary. That's why people have discussions. You name it, man. That matters. How dare you? But yeah, no, people who think that Charlie's a bad person because he debated college kids, that's not a bad person. You know who a bad person is? Is somebody who actually abuses them, like somebody who goes to campuses and actually does terrible things. That's a bad person. Charlie is an example of a great person. I think we're really losing the plot, people. We're losing the plot. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying bad things. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's what you do that matters, not what you say. It's a simple concept. I have to keep harping back to that concept, but it seems to be beyond the comprehension of some of the people in the chat. You know? Yeah, I didn't realize how many dum-dums, by that I mean the candy, are in this. I might eat some Whoppers in front of you guys. Hold on. Sorry, reconnected. The phone seemed to be a little drinky. But I want to thank everybody for coming on into this. This was great. Love doing these polls. So we got 1,045 votes in this poll. Is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? 56% of you say yes. 34% say no. 10% say unsure. Interesting. Crazy. Thank you, bro. He was a family man who felt it was his duty to educate the youth. And maybe he didn't like what he was saying. Maybe he didn't like the concepts he talked about. It doesn't mean he just end his life. It's awful. And so, what happens if I disagree with? What happens if anybody disagrees with you, collective? All you creeps, all you cretins in the chat, what happens if people disagree with you? Okay, so I've been doing this for a bit. I got monsters I gotta put in the fridge. My trash can's a little bit full. I'm going to have to take out the trash here in a second. So I'll tell you guys what. I'm going to take out the trash. I'm going to take out the trash. I expect a ton of super chats when I get back. That's what I expect. Boom. Okay. So we got 140 people. Here, I'll tell you what. If you really want an answer, if you want an answer to your pressing question, you got to pay up, dude. You got to pay up. I'll answer your question openly and honestly. But you should probably give me a super chat. Oh, it's not donating. In fact, it gives you notoriety. If you give a super chat, it gives you notoriety. People subscribe to your channel. It's pretty decent, actually. And I simp for you. I simp for the super chats, by the way. I'm a bad boy. Okay, I'm not gonna get to okay. That's OnlyFans territory when I start saying that stuff. But check this out. Hear me. Hear me. Hear me. We got this. We got this. By the way, we have a lot of new subscribers, by the way. So, is free thinking in danger in the US? We do 1,124 votes. This is insane. Like, in a good way. I'm very excited about this. Like, I am stimulated in so many ways by this. 5,190? What? Dude, we are growing as a channel at an exponential rate. And it's all thanks to you guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But no, people can think freely. But when I say free thinking is in danger, like if I am publicly thinking and saying what I think, am I going to get killed for thinking freely? Shouldn't. Even if I say heinous things, nobody can die. Nobody should die because of what they really believe, even if what they believe is disgusting. You are not the moral authority over others. You may think you are, and you. Nobody says, "Hey, Mike, when are your days off?" Oh, I got fired, dude. I got straight up fired from T-Tech, so I just basically do DoorDash whenever I feel like it, and then I do this show, which makes me surprisingly a good amount of money. I make an all right amount of money from this show, and it's shocking how much money I make from ad revenue too. A lot. So, but yeah, I got fired from my job because I passionately disagreed with my employer. And by the way, my former employer's called T-Tech, by the way. And don't worry, Jordan, it's not a bad thing. I was very miserable at that job. And to be honest, I've got a really good car that's fuel efficient. So I basically at this point am doing... I also did sign up for unemployment as well. So, because technically, by all definition, I am unemployed. But they do have a program that'll allow me to get unemployment and focus on my businesses. So that's kind of cool. Nobody says I worked there in Montana during the pandemics. Yeah, no, dude, here's the thing, Jordan. T-Tech... is garbage. It's a garbage company, brother. I you know what's wild about T-Tech is, so I worked for FCR originally, and then FCR got basically T-Tech bought FCR and then started absorbing FCR into it. So technically, I worked for FCR for a very long time, but basically, I'd worked for FCR / T-Tech for over 13 years, and it was I left after training. Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. T-Tech is bullcrap. I'm not a fan of the company. I've done nothing but trash it ever since they fired me, because they my managers like legitimately harassed me. It was disturbing. And I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why they targeted me, and I don't know why they made me feel like garbage. It was the weirdest thing. I had been working for that company for 13 years. I'll spell it out, by the way. T-Tech equals awful company. Yeah. It's a bad company. So. Yeah, so, but you know what was the irony was? That my stats were actually really good, and they even admitted that my stats were through the roof and actually pretty much better than the majority of my colleagues on the client that I was working for. Yet they still treated me like garbage. My lead made me feel as if I was going to lose my job for whatever reason. Just the way that she talked to me, she talked down to me. I would come in late every now and then from lunch by about a minute or two. She didn't like the fact that I would come back from lunch late from time to time, and it wasn't like super often. It was like she just loved to micromanage me, and trust me, Jordan, you know me very well. I hate to be micromanaged. I really, really hate being micromanaged to every degree. It's the worst thing in the world. I can't do it. So when I'm micromanaged, it's wild. I don't work well under that environment. So honestly, I have a very good cash cushion. I got a lot of cash sitting in the bank. I've actually surprisingly been making a lot of money doing this, vertical lives. I've been doing a lot of these too. So I haven't had to do as much DoorDash, but I still enjoy doing DoorDash. So I do DoorDash and I do YouTube to make money. Vertical lives, live, Lives. I'm pretty sure that was a joke when Decoy said that, but yeah, no, I do live videos that are vertical, and they make me a lot of money because they get shown to a lot of people. And but yeah, the subscriber count to the channel is through the roof. I think even though I'm kind of a crazy person when I talk, I think people understand that I'm coming from an authentic place. So I think that's why, I don't know if that's one of the reasons why I'm getting a ton of subscribers, but it's the only sensible thing I could think of. But yeah, no, I was actually very thrilled. But yeah, I did sign up for unemployment. It was just kind of a no other option sort of thing. I mean, like, look, I'm making good enough money. I'm, just to be on the safe side though, just in case there's any lulls, I'm being very smart. Let's see. My boy Jordan says I have $696 coming to me from YouTube just on donations this month. I'm not gonna lie, in the last and Jordan, I want to say this: you're gonna get way more donations if you do vertical lives. Mark my effing words. I'm gonna tell you, in the last 4 days, I've gotten nearly $300 in super chats in the last 4 days. 4 days, actually. The last 4 days. I mean, you just have to talk about topics that you're passionate about, but topics that are trending, but do it in the vertical live format. I know the vertical live format's kind of lame, but I'm not kidding, Jordan, when I say this. It helps with channel growth. Mark my words, brother. Just hear me out. Helps with channel growth. Vertical lives. 7 hashtags at the bottom of your description. Check out the way that I format the hashtags. They're all the hashtags are related. The title, you know, I try my best to make the title pretty decent, but I'm sweaty, you guys. I'm sorry. It's a little hot in here. I need to probably open up the window a little further. Did I even open the window in there? Okay, the window's open. We got a cross breeze going, but it's still hot as crap in here. Pull that up a little bit. But I'm telling you, man, the vertical live format, all I do is I set this phone, my Google Pixel 8 Pro, on this tripod. and I have a little ring light behind it. Simple as that. I just got a ring light from Walmart. I have a ring light over here. You guys can't see it, but over here on the main computer, I still, I'm going to be doing some vertical lives on the main computer here. But honestly, I've just been doing such a good job on these style vertical lives where I just express my opinion and things like that. Nobody says I would just use the multi-feature that I use on Meld. Yeah, so Meld's great. I love Meld, don't get me wrong. But I'm telling you, man, just do the vertical format. I mean it when I say this. Do the vertical format. It rocks. You guys got to give me a second, though. I played a little bit of basketball earlier, so the fact of the matter is I'm surprised I'm still able to stand. Because, first off, my buddies convinced me to play some basketball, and I needed to get out and get a little exercise. But I've been doing a lot of videos where I'm standing and talking, but it's really good because I can back up, I can move forward, So it works, man. Vertical lives is all I gotta say. It's the nobody says, believe it or not, guys, Michael is a pretty decent basketball player. Today I was hit or miss, actually, but I mean, I did all right. But once I once I tire out, though, I get kind of lazy and my defense goes to shit. But luckily I got a good jump shot. So, but yeah, no, I love balling it up, man. Tim Smith is in the house too. Tim Smith says Michael is a great ball handler. I do have the ball handling skills. As gay as that sounds. But where did I put my basketball? Did I put my basketball bag? But yeah, I was balling it up with a couple of my dudes earlier, but this is one of the balls I use, the ZI/O Excel. Look at that. But here's kind of how I play. Let's see here, I'll try to get the form, but usually when I'm shooting the ball, I'm going up, and then, boop, that's the release. Boop, and then, blah, and then, I'm not going to dribble, obviously, but, I'll dribble back and forth, do my things, and then I'm a little bit wide, so it's tough to get around my own body when I do do that sort of trick. But, yeah, it's now, I do love balling it up. I can also palm the ball, shockingly. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe. See, I can palm it, sort of. But, that back in the old closet. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. We were just at 5,000 subscribers just yesterday, and today we've increased the subscriber count tenfold. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who has really been really awesome. Let me take a look at these chats here. Nobody says Christian McCauley. He has no reason to. Oh yeah, Christian keeps wanting to debate me, this dude. Christian, man, what will we even talk about, brother? And how would I debate you? How would I get you on here? Like, what would be the format? Would I Zoom? I could probably get you on my laptop or something. Do you have Facebook? I mean, yeah, if you gave me a $20 super chat, I'm not necessarily opposed to debating you for 5 minutes. It would be only audio, and the audio quality would probably suck, just to let you know. Because if we were to do this, it wouldn't be. I'm not doing this on my actual computer. I'm doing this from the YouTube app. This whole thing. So. So, okay, remind me. I guess I could. Yeah, I could log into Zoom. Let me make sure I still have my Zoom account. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I do. I think I logged in with Google. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I logged in with Google originally. Yeah, give me a moment. I'm gonna. Here's the thing. If I don't do Cash App, I will not take any money from anybody except in this public scenario, except through the super chats. So it's if you wanted to give me a super chat, you can. I will say that I am always willing to debate somebody who gives me a super chat, or somebody who's a longtime friend of the show. If you're a longtime friend of mine, or just a longtime friend of the show, or just in general, doesn't really matter. Give me a few seconds though. Hey, if somebody wants to give me a super chat and they want to do a Zoom meeting, why the hell not? I'm cool with it. How do I host? Host with video off. Interesting. So open Zoom meetings. I don't know if I have Zoom. Do I have Zoom on my laptop? Oh, okay, I do actually have the Zoom software on here. Nice. So we could do it. Now, like I said, this is going to be kind of low quality because it's going to be straight from the speaker system on my laptop, which is next to the phone. So I can't guarantee the quality is going to be good. So if you're okay with crappy quality, pull it off. Tim Smith, I am not going to read that @ symbol. That but that person gave a super chat last night to Tim Smith, and OMG, I'm not even gonna go there. That's so funny. Okay, so sign in to Zoom. Okay, so I'm going to try to sign. Here's the thing, man. I'm an old man. I don't use Zoom, like, ever. So... Oh, dude. We got a Big Bruh 445 gave a $5 super chat saying they're using Kirk as leverage, pinning the people against each other. The government lies to us about Israel. I can see that. Let me reply to that also. I want to give a textual reply. I really appreciate the big time, Doug. Thank you. It's very kind. You guys, seriously, some of you guys in the chat are just way too kind on this stuff. So make sure you guys subscribe to Big Bruh. Saying they're using, in the super chat, he said they're using Kirk as leverage, pinning the people against each other. The government lies to us about Israel. That's what Big Bruh says. That's not what I say. I'm just quoting Big Bruh 445. I want to reply to the super chat saying, I wouldn't be shocked if you were right about this. By the way, there is no guarantee that I will debate people on here. Just want to give a heads up on this. Somebody's asking me my bra size. Heck yeah. I mean, I got a pretty nice rack. I think I got a better rack than most. I got look at that. It's a good bust. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, I would puff out my chest, but my back is killing me. Look at that. Gotta do the bounce test. Here we go. Right. Whoa, whoa. And I have balance. Yeah, I mean, you guys, that's what you guys wanted to see, right? There ain't that much jiggle. I'm a boobs, my man boobs, but whatever. Whatever. Because I'm the greatest white rapper in the US of A. All my homeboys. So Robinator says, why'd you get fired? Pretty much, I argued my case about a corrective action because I was only late just a few times, and I did miss a whole day. I didn't use wellness time because I actually thought it would be used against me because of the way my management team was treating me, and so it was a real shit show. It was a real hellhole. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Tim Smith says he doesn't have to say, and you're right, but I'm pretty open about it at this point. I just think that, I had been at the company for 13 years. I had a really good track record. I did have one supervisor before. Like, it was when I was working for so we outsource our customer service on T-Tech, so I was doing customer support for Nintendo at one point, and there was a supervisor I had. Her name was Haven, and she was a total B, awful person. I got terrible vibes from this person. I just did not want to talk to her, like, ever. She was bad. But that was the only, out of the 13 years I worked there, that was like the one person I could say, like, I really despised. And then, of course, I go to this client. They were called Pay with Spire. And like I said, this is all under the T-Tech umbrella. We outsource customer support. And I don't know. It started with my team lead, who gave me one-on-ones and stuff like that, talking down to me, getting mad at me for occasionally coming in 1 or 2 minutes late back from lunch. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, first off, I produce at a high level, and sure, timeliness does matter, I'll admit that, but like 2 minutes, like, or 1 minute even, it's like, come on, you're not even paying me for that extra minute or two. So calm your tits. And it was like, I'll say this, it was very frustrating. Tim Smith said hi. Hello, Tim Smith. Sorry, Tim. Not nice, CC. So now I gotta know, is the Tim Smith in this chat the real Tim Smith or the fake Tim Smith? There's only one way. Tim Smith says, if you make me a mod, I can filter out some of the really mean stuff. You're not the real Tim Smith. Because the real Tim Smith knows that I don't do moderation on this channel. Also, if you're the real Tim Smith, the Tim Smith that here's the thing. And by the way, if you're the real Tim Smith, what's your favorite band? What's the band that you really love the most, if you're the real Tim Smith? I don't think that this is the real Tim Smith, because we did have this issue where there was a fake one. Now, the real Tim Smith is a total stud, but I think we're dealing with a fake Tim Smith. Nope. What is the band that you follow the most, that you go to the concerts the most? The one that you've been recently loving? Also, what concert did I go to recently? You knew about it. I told you about it. But what's the band that you love? Begins with an S, by the way. I'll give you a hint. Begins with an S. So here's the thing. This is not the real Tim Smith. Oh, okay. You already said you're fake Tim. Okay. So we have a fake Tim Smith in the house. I know my Tim Smith, bro. I know my Tim Smith, man. Tim Smith said I was going to delete the entire chat if he made me a mod. Dude, I'm not stupid. I don't make anybody mods, dude. Here's the thing. This isn't... I don't even take the time to moderate my own channel because I don't really give a crap. By the way, if a comment is truly heinous If a comment is truly raunchy and terrible, YouTube actually has AI mechanisms that detect it and will actually remove the comment if it's really that bad. So, yeah. But if you guys want any questions answered, super chats are preferred. So I'll even put that in a little message. Now I will say this, even though I don't like being bamboozled. I will give fake Tim Smith credit for trying to be the real Tim Smith. Man, I hope everybody isn't Tim Smith. Tim Smith is my buddy from Canada, and I'm not going to give too much information about my boy, but Tim Smith is the man. Got fake Tim Smith in the house, though. You guys will have to give me a second, man. I am sweating up a storm. It's just hot in here. We're at 5,197 subscribers, you guys. I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to the channel. The fact that we've had so many contributors to this channel. And y'all apologize for calling me, oh God. You know what? I'm not going to read any more of fake Tim Smith's stuff. I want the real Tim Smith, all right? I don't want these phony baloney didlos, all right? I don't want that. I want the real Tim Smith, all right? The real one. Oh. All right, I'm going to sit down. While I'm sitting down and recharging my batteries, I'm going to interact with you guys through the chat. All right. I'm going to do voice to text. Ugh. But I'm doing it. Oh, see what the people in the chat are saying here. Just gotta find my live video real quick. Yeah, I need to sit down just for a few moments so you guys can't really see me, but you guys can still hear me. Like I said, I was playing ball for quite a bit, but yeah, I gotta sit my pussy down for a second. In fact, maybe I'll make it to where you guys can kind of see me. Hold on. Hold on. I'll read the chat from my other phone here. Okay. All right. Yeah. I bet you do, G-Dog. I want to talk about super chats. If you give me a super chat, I'll legitimately answer whatever question you pose at me. I'll do my best to be honest and be the man. And you'll get social recognition from the whatever. Twitch is hot garbage. I'm not a fan of that platform at all. Oh, we got Jits 0156 donated $2. Thank you, brother. That made me get up from a perch. So, Got Jits says, let's do a live together and chat about it. I don't know, man. I don't even have this set up to allow another person anyway. I guess you could zoom in on a Zoom meeting. I could start a Zoom meeting of some kind. I don't know. I got to sign into my Zoom account, though. Oh. Do a meeting. Where's the products? Meetings. It's like a free version of Zoom, right? I think I'm on the free version, as far as I know. Preferences. Web app. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, though, my man. I really do appreciate it. So just got Jits 0156 gave $2 saying let's do a live together and chat about it. Really appreciate it, man. We could. Also, I forgot to mention Nobody said, okay, I did a basic setup for my live stream shorts on Meld. Mine is a little more busy than yours, but I'll see what people think on Tuesday. Heck yeah, dude. Get it, dude. Get it, dude. I encourage it big time, and I love doing these live videos, the vertical lives. Really effective. They do the trick. They get more subscribers. I'm having a good time talking to everybody. I mean, this is great, man. It's an overload. Pretty cool, though. See, Nobody says you could be on my show sometime. I need to make some adjustments, but I think it'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to just pal around, fart around and shit. Hell yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to at Nobody Has Spoken. So it's all one word. At, the at symbol. Nobody Has Spoken. Make sure you guys check out my boy Jordan. Total beast, total stud. Total beast, total stud. And yep, you had it right here. At Nobody Has Spoken. So check out my boy. He's a pretty cool dude. Known him for a very long time. And I'm just glad he's finding some success with YouTube just the same way that I found success because, I will say this, the one thing I will say I love about you, Jordan, man, is, you do your thing. You're an eccentric man and you got a lot of personality and you got a lot of heart. That's the one thing I love about you, brother. In fact, it's the many things I love about you because you're just a cool dude. And you're a critical thinker, my man. That's the one thing. Another thing I could say is like, dude, critical thinker. So So I just want to even thank you for stopping on by, man, because I want you to, because you're way more charismatic than I am, and I think that you would make a killing, a literal killing on vertical live streams. So make sure, you know. Oh, I see. So nobody says, well, you didn't get named in 12 pages of a lawsuit like me. That hurt helped. Yeah, that's true. I'm very sweaty right now, you guys. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna sit down. Oh man, my right foot's kind of killing me a little bit, so I just gotta give myself a second. Okay, hold on. All right. Okay, so Got Jit says, so yes, no, maybe so. Okay, so if do you want to do, what do you want to do, Got Jits? Do you want to do like we could do like a 5 minute, like, I don't know, Zoom? Do you got Facebook or anything? If you got Facebook, you could just add me on Facebook and I'll call you on Facebook Messenger. That's honestly just as easy for me. I'm kind of an old man when it comes to Zoom. I do actually have Zoom pulled up now that you mention it, though. Hold on. Where's the... Okay, there's the Zoom. Okay, just got to sign in with Google. Okay, hold on. I might be able to get into Zoom. So do you... got Jits? Do you use Zoom at all? Oh, Evil Tim Smith. Oh my God, there's Evil Tim Smith. What? Sorry about that. I had to reconnect. There was something that... a little bit of a hiccup there. Open. Okay, so I'm actually able to log in. Okay, hold on. I got to update the app. Give me a second, though. So, Got Jits, I mean, we could do like a short, I don't know, short live. You wouldn't be able to get on video, though, is the thing. Just want to let you know. People would be able to hear you. They just wouldn't be able to necessarily see you. Would be the only issue, as long as you're okay with that. Also, I am updating the app itself. Hold on. So Driving with Spice says, I remember this YouTuber getting killed after talking about the cartel. Oh, wow. That's wild. Got Jit says, yeah, I got updates too. Okay. We'll give it a second. Yeah, I think Zoom would be the best, to be honest. We'll do a little quick Zoom. I'll send you something. We'll figure something out here in just a second. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who's contributed tonight. We've got quite a few super chats, shockingly. Evil Tim Smith says he's never going to address the eyebrows. Nope. So I think everybody's just becoming Tim Smith. Best to talk stuff from a fake profile picture. I mean, the only thing I really talk about is just, really, I just love free thinking. And I love doing stuff like this. I also love betting against Bitcoin because I believe it's stupid. Yeah, the comments are full of fools. And it is disturbing that people are willing to celebrate the death of a good person the way that they are. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, though. We have 1,323 votes in the poll. Incredible. So the poll question is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? 56% of you say yes. 34% of you say no. 11% of you say unsure. Driving with Spice says not you in particular. Okay. I mean, people in general, yeah. Oh. Open Sesame. Well, it looks like it's working. All right. Pretty cool. Let's see what the result is. All right, I guess I could start the Mr. Jit. Were you able to get the were you able to get it figured out? Were you able to get on Zoom as well? Because I can start the meeting or you can. So I could either create the meeting or I could join your meeting. You just got to let me know what you want to do, or I could just let you know what I want to do. One or the other. We're just waiting for a response from GotJit. We're gonna have GotJit on the show because GotJit was nice enough to give some super chats and actually is really enthusiastic about being on the show. So I'm kind of curious, since he was able to pay a little bit and he's really, he's asking, asking you shall receive. Okay, cool. Let me start a meeting. Give me a second. What I could do is I could even just send you the. Yeah, I could send you something here. I'll send you something. It's gonna be no video on this, but no backgrounds. We'll just use a virtual background. No. One moment, folks. One moment. Oh, I should probably use headphones. Hold on. Let me use the headphones for the speaker. Oh, no. Actually, we need people to be able to hear you. That'd be pointless if they can't hear you. Microphone array. Give me a second, gadgets. Let's see. Lol, Zoom is tripping on me hard. Haha. Okay, I started some kind of meeting. Let me see if I can actually invite you. It's been a while since I've used Zoom, so you guys will have to give me a few moments. It's kind of a good little experiment, though. You're actually doing me a favor, just in case I got to use Zoom for whatever reason. It's going to be a little difficult. Hold on. Share. Here we go. No, that's not what I wanted. Not at all. Invite. I don't want you to have to say your email on here. Let me see what the meeting link is. Kyle K, you said you can't hear me? Hold on, let me test something real quick. Okay, I think we're back. Hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better now. Oh, he's lying? Okay. Gotjit says I can hear you. Okay. Let me figure out how to share this properly, my man. Hold on. Invite. How do I copy? Do I share the link? Let's see. Copy invite link. Let's try that. Jeez, it's a long link. Is there a simple way to do that? What's your email, dude? Gotcha. Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I don't want you to send it. I don't want you to share your email on here. That's personal data. Okay, so I have a link. I don't know if you'll be able to copy this link though. I'm gonna try my darndest here. I'll give you the meeting passcode as well. If you can copy it, fantastic. Or if you're able to click it, that's great. If you have any trouble, man, just let me know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. But I did paste it on there, by the way, for you. Yeah, that's true. I'm running the risk, but I also can kick anybody out that shouldn't be in there. Who knows? This will be like it'll be a gay Zoom orgy for everybody. So everybody's gonna have gay Zooming sex, and we're gonna talk about Bitcoin, and I'm gonna wear sunglasses while I talk about Bitcoin, and we're all gonna all have some sort of anal stuff. No, we don't need to do anal. Here's the thing: we're all gonna be doing gay stuff in the metaverse. We love Mark Zuckerberg here. We're Mark Zuckerberg fanboys, and this is why we do it. Does that make sense? There's no real anal, by the way. That was a joke, just to let everybody know. Joking. Please do not take me seriously. No, I'm. It's a bit of a comedy bit, but humor is beyond what people have these days. Hey, I love Mark Zuckerberg. He's the man. Mark Zuckerberg is my homie, but we got 1,355 votes. Oh, we got Mark. We got Jits. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Give me a second, brother. I can't hear you. It's probably my fault, by the way, that I can't hear you. Hold on. It's definitely my fault. Hold on. I just realized that. Yeah, just say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. My volume was on mute, so I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What's your name, brother?
My name is Michael G. What's your name, my man? I know you got. I know you're on Got Jits. If you want to just go by Got Jits, that's fine. But if you got like a first name you want to say on here, that's fine.
We can go with Jits. That works.
Jits. All right, dude.
That's
Jits.
wild that I actually got this to work, man. It took an update and then
Same.
3 or 4 finaglings on the phone, and yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually used Zoom, so I'm doing it from like a desktop right now. Well, a laptop actually.
Right.
So I got my laptop set up next to the phone. I hope people can hear you. I'm going to ask the chat real quick. Can you guys hear Got Jits? Just say random things if you want. If you want, you can just say whatever you want, Mr. Jits.
Yeah. So the topic is this gonna impact America or make it more dangerous to speak freely? Is that where we're going?
Yeah, I mean, we can go wherever you want to go, man. I'm pretty open to kind of just see where the conversation leads, wander a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you feel? I mean, based on the poll you're getting, what are you thinking?
My thought is that free thinking, if people want to become the executioner, and that's a little frightening. Like if people want to judge people, yeah, obviously everybody's got the right to judge people, but like, but people are wanting to execute people for having thoughts that are different than theirs, and that's where it gets a little dicey. And I don't know. It seems like people think they can do it as if they won't have any consequences to their actions, and I mean, I think there needs to be a little fear in the people who are trying to do this crap, who are trying to hurt other people for their
Right.
beliefs. So I don't know what they're going to do to the shooter, but they might need to use the fullest extent of the law to send a message that you can't just kill somebody for their beliefs and think that you can just get away with it scot-free. Because you should be able to say whatever you want, but you can't just do whatever you want. You could do most things, but you can't just kill people.
What you have is you have one side that tends to think that words are violence and thus should precipitate violent reactions. And when you've got people calling a certain segment of human beings Nazis or fascists, it's like if you were sitting next to Hitler,
yeah,
or a Nazi, right? Like you're almost begotten by your own moral standards in many cases to do something about that. And so I think a lot of the framing of human beings is where this kind of violence erupts from. And it generally erupts from one side of the political spectrum. Not always, but generally.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I would say it can still happen from both sides, but I will say there is a pattern that it does seem to happen in a larger quantity on one side, and I will say it's definitely leans left. I'll say that without being too controversial. But but I will say this though. Here's an interesting comment. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Trigga Man 718, that's the username for this person, says free speech and hate speech are two different things. Actually,
no, they're not.
In fact, there is technically no such thing in the letter of the law when it comes to free speech. You can say hateful speech if you want to. There is not. You can't just be killed for saying things that are hateful. That's ridiculous. You can't even go to jail.
Right.
I could say whatever hateful thing I want to say. It doesn't really matter. By the letter of the law and free speech, I have my right to express my opinion, even if it's unpopular. And that's the whole point of free speech, is to protect unpopular speech, not because popular speech is easy to protect. Unpopular speech, that's a tough one, and that's why freedom of speech is necessary. But anyway, sorry, I rambled on that one, but.
No, you didn't at all. Unfortunately, I had to log out of the YouTube because I was hearing double speak there. It was like one was before the other and all that. So you're reading comments that I don't get to read right now. But
I understand.
I disagree with the commenter there. Hate speech is, that the term hate speech is up to who. It leaves a determination as to who gets to determine what is hate.
Exactly.
Right? So from one administration to the next, it could be two different things. From one court superiority to the next. It could be two different things. And the whole point of free speech was not to protect popular speech when Washington and those were fighting Great Britain and whatnot, and going against the crown and this and that. It was to protect unpopular speech. That's how it came about, because the founders knew, like, okay, if something's unpopular to say, people won't say it unless they have protections from government, right?
Yeah.
And this works both ways. In today's case, or the most recent case, it's a white Christian heterosexual point of view that has been spreading that viewpoint. Whether you agree or disagree, personally, I tend to agree. And he got killed for it. So really what that boils down to is, if certain speech is unacceptable, at what point does it become necessary to invoke violence? And if the left says that the point at which it needs to become violent is if you're white, heterosexual, Christian, etc., then the inverse to that is, okay, if you're a transsexual, gay, I don't know, Mexican or black.
Yeah.
Right, all the worst things that side would portray about, say, a Charlie Kirk, and his, what they would say, rhetoric, then by the same rights, that side should be able to come to be able to become violent, and that's wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I see exactly what you're saying.
Not by a personal moral judgment, but by at least from what I was raised in, a God-given directive as to morality, right? So there are certain things that are flatly wrong and flatly correct, and they don't overlap in any way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest issue here is it's a war of ideas and beliefs. And it's really kind of what this seems to be boiling down to. And everybody keeps talking about civil war. I mean, the truth is, it's really a difference of philosophy too. I believe that words are not actions, but people classify violent speech. I hate it when people say violent speech. It's like, sure, I may say, or hateful speech. I just hate all those terms because...
Right, it's like trying to conflate a noun with a verb.
Yeah, and talking is talking. Speaking is speaking. Words at the end of the day are words. And look if you hate an idea so much and you think it is such an evil idea, try to promote an idea that you believe is better. That's the way to go about it. You don't, and you know what's funny? The more people try to silence people like Charlie Kirk, the more people who have a little bit of sanity in their mind are going to look at what happened and be like, yeah, all these people who are rooting for the death of Charlie Kirk, I'm going to just vote whatever opposite of whatever they're voting. They're too crazy for me. So I think sanity ultimately will prevail. And the sad part is, he got martyred. He got killed for what he believed in. And I was surprised by the reaction, and I was sickened. It's like, I don't care what beliefs you have. You can have the most heinous beliefs in the world. I still don't think you deserve to be killed. It's weird, man. We're living in some very desensitized times, and I don't know if it's because of social media or people are just getting worse. I have no clue.
Well, it's good that you're asking that question, and I think that question is going to lead you inevitably to the truth of the matter. So you don't, I guess where I'm going to go with this is, the point I'm going to raise is he was a Christian man. Yeah. And you don't see this kind of vitriol towards a Muslim raising the same kind of viewpoints that he would have.
Yeah.
Heterosexual marriage, nuclear family, things like that, that a Muslim would raise the same points on, right? So
Yeah.
the areas where, say, Christianity and Islam overlap, the people that want to do violence against these loud people, they're only targeting one group of people.
Yep.
Yet we've got other groups of people that mirror very similar rhetoric, I guess you'd say, but they're not being targeted in the same way.
Yeah. I think
you don't see imams in the United States being targeted for saying very similar things, with an Islamic twist.
Well, the problem is daddy issues.
That is a big portion of it.
They hate the white man because they remind them of their dads.
I mean, in some way that could be true. But look at the shooter of Charlie Kirk. He had a father. In fact, his father was integral in this guy, the alleged suspect being apprehended. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The father figure was the one that basically pulled the trigger on making that happen, as far as the media is concerned.
Yeah.
So, while I hear what you're saying, at the same time, I don't necessarily agree in the sense of it's fatherless homes.
Well, no, not even fatherless homes. They just hate their dads because maybe their dads didn't like. For instance, like the shooter. Think about it this way: the shooter, based on the evidence they found, he was gay and probably pretty closeted. Probably didn't even really reveal it to his dad, and his dad sounds like a traditional conservative. If you think of it from the Tyler's perspective, even though I don't agree with this kid, but I think he's got major daddy issues because he knew his dad wouldn't accept his furry boyfriend. So I think it's all rooted in daddy issues. That's why like they all want to kill these white dudes because they all remind them of their fathers. Like, I know that sounds simplistic, but it kind of might get to the root cause because the left is rooted in daddy issues.
It's very true. What you're saying is very true. There's a lot of reverse racism in America today. I experienced that in employment with government currently. They just it's a weird thing where they want DEI hires and they want to get rid of a certain kind of employee, and it just is what it is. But at the same time, when you really look at it, there's an individual who's confused about whatever he's confused about, that wants to target a man like Charlie Kirk, who sits down with the Dave Rubins of the world, the married homosexuals of the world, with his family, and chats with them and makes those people friends, because that's what Christ would have done regardless of whether they were sinful or not. And why do I say that? Because he took disciples that were sinful. He always surrounded himself with people that fell short of the glory of God, and that was the whole goal of Christ, was to save people that really didn't deserve it, that fell short of everything that was in the commandments, right?
Yeah.
And then when you've got a young man, I think I was like 31. But most of his like big public, if you like scroll through YouTube and the shorts of Charlie Kirk, most of those, he's in his early to mid 20s when he was more abrasive and whatnot. But still, you've got this young man that is, I mean, he's basically speaking the Gospels, and a very specific viewpoint, but he's also doing it in a way where he's inviting discourse, right? So when we talk about like debate and how we should all want to debate, like you are right, but at some point there has to be a realization of, the other side might not want to debate. And at some point, when you're dealing with an evil ideology, you have to realize that perhaps they're not willing to debate. Perhaps they literally see you as the devil, or something that's vermin-like, or less than human.
Yeah.
Like they do, with all the MAGA people. You remember basket of deplorables?
Oh yeah.
Vermin. Just that those were the Nazi, fascist. Those were the terms they used for everyone. So now you have this segment of people that have been indoctrinated and conditioned to view people who think within a normal or common set of boundaries from left to right, whether you're a conservative or a liberal, not a leftist, style of, the average American that, dad goes to work, mom might go to work or might be a stay-at-home mom. They come home, they eat dinner together, they do whatever. That's now evil. Like you're seeing in America right now where, in 1960, given they had their flaws, they saw things a lot different, and in many cases it was probably more beneficial to the American society than it is in the way we are now. So like today, if you're the wrong side and you run for president, they shoot you, right?
Yeah.
If you send your kids to church or to school, they shoot them.
It's fucked.
If you beat them in a debate, they shoot you.
Yeah.
At some point, the whole idea of just being peaceful is not necessarily the best course. And I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. I guess what I'm saying is you need to be ready for the other side to like come to your house, come to where you meet for work, try to take your livelihood from you, dox you, try to harm your family, your kids. That's the America we live in today. And I think that the right side of the aisle and that Christian segment is still caught up in this meek version of Christianity and democracy, where everybody just has to, thoughts and prayers, coming from a Christian man, you look at it and you're like, the dude was not like, if you're following, say, Christianity like Charlie Kirk was, you're not following a meek savior. That was a manly man. He was constantly in controversy and stepping into the fray all the time against people that disagreed with him, that wanted him dead. Eventually he was martyred. God was martyred for what he was preaching. That's just what happened. Like, and it's not just me saying that. That's the historicity of events. That's what happened, and you see it repeat through time. And it happened even before Christ. It happened throughout the Old Testament. The same kind of things happened with those that preached a morally just society and were willing to debate with evil.
You know what? One thing I want to say is one thing that I think has been misinterpreted from in Christianity the most is the term "turn the other cheek." I think it actually has a double meaning, and it's representative of a choice. You can either turn your cheek and walk away, or you could turn their cheek. So if they're being total pieces of garbage to you, they're not leaving you alone. Sometimes you got to turn their cheek, and what I mean by that is pow right in the kisser. Make their cheek turn.
Yeah.
And I think that there's actually a double meaning to that. And I will say this, like, I think if they're gonna go low, if people are gonna go low, sometimes you just got to meet them where they're at. And sometimes I hate taking the high road. I'm not gonna lie. There's
We
only
all do.
there's only so many times I could take it on the chin before I'm like, I'm just gonna match your energy. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like if somebody comes up to me and starts effing with me, and they think I'm passive, I turn around and like I said, pow right in the kisser to them. I've done it a couple times to people because some people think they could just harass me. And luckily, I'm tall and built like a refrigerator, so it's no problem. But like, I
I
think
hear
that
you.
sometimes
I'm a big guy, and yeah, I hear you.
I think we just got to stop with. Here's the thing. I think sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, and I hate. And I'm not even going to advocate for violence or anything like that. I'm not going to say what I'm really thinking, but I think you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to match the person's energy because if they're trying to harm you, you got to defend yourself and you got to match their
Right.
energy. You can't just take it. And it's getting to the point where I think people are
Well,
having the fatigue. And when I say the fatigue, I'm talking about the leftist fatigue. I think we're tired of the left. I think so many people are tired of these crazy
I
college
agree.
kids. And I'm fed up, dude. I go crazy on my channel. I'm just saying college kids are freaking dumb.
Well,
Like,
this is my first time logging into your channel, and I hear what you're saying, but again, like in today's world, like what you're saying, particularly like the Christian faith, everybody's kind of expected to like be meek and weak and forgiving, and you are supposed to forgive, but then you look at the book, and it also instructs another way, right? So like you look at like Psalm 144, right? Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle.
yeah,
That's there for a reason, right? Um, Jesus gets mad at Peter for, unsheathing his sword, and gets mad at his disciples for cutting someone's ear off. But at the same time, he tells his disciples to get a sword.
yeah,
So, I mean, there's a nuance there, right? Like
yeah,
you're not supposed to be weak. You're supposed to be men,
yeah,
right? You're supposed to be men. Or in the women's case, you're supposed to be women. What does that mean? That's different than being men, right? Like you're supposed to be calm and steady minded and make a home out of a household and be a source of peace for the entire house.
yeah,
Men, when we get married and all that, it's similar, but it's different. You're head of household.
yeah,
You should be driven to do something in life. You should be leading by example, going out and facing the school districts, for one, that try to mess with your kids' heads.
yeah,
You should be willing to stand up, and even if it means, losing your job in one sense, you have faith.
oh, yeah,
You stand up for what's right, and it's one thing that's missing from our side today, at least as far as what I've heard you talk about. It's something that's missing in many cases today from the right side. You've got effeminized men on the left
yeah,
that hate everything and want to kill everything, and then you've got essentially, in many cases, effeminized men on the right that are effeminized in a similar but different way, where they think they have to like appease everyone and not have stern values.
Yeah.
Like, my values are good until they're confronted, and then I back down. No.
Oh God, I hate
That's
that,
not
dude. I fucking hate that pussy. I'm sorry, I hate that pussy crap, dude. I
right.
oh, like I stand up for what I believe in to the point to where even my own family gets angry at me because my family's pretty controlling and some of them are kind of narcissists. But like
Right.
I just tell them it's like, yeah, I'm gonna believe whatever the hell I want to believe. Suck it. And I'm sorry, I use some pretty foul language. It sounds like you are, a Christian man. I'm sorry. I know that you're probably
You're
not used
good.
to hearing this level of swearing,
No,
but
no, 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 no. You have no idea. I work in the prison system, and I am a combat veteran.
oh, got you. Okay.
I swear constantly.
Okay. Okay.
In way worse fashion than you're used to here. It just, like, I'm actually deep in thought with what you got going on here. So,
Yeah.
like, I try to conduct myself in a way that's fairly cordial, right? So,
Oh, you don't have to be perfect on this channel. This is the most imperfect show of all time. So we go kind of crazy on this show.
I can piece F-bombs together in a creative way like you've never heard. Trust me. But that's not why I'm here. I saw your thing. It popped up in my lives, and I kind of was like, well, let's chat about it.
Yeah.
I see an America today that is weak. It's militarily weak. It's economically weak, and I think those stem from an abandonment of Western Judeo-Christian values and what made this country what it is or should be, what it was. I think that all men, regardless of race, color, background, etc., should lead their families in a certain fashion, and I think that reflects in communities. Men in charge, or even women in positions of power, they should lead their communities in a certain fashion, and we're not seeing it. Yeah. What we're seeing is the scum rising to the top in society. They suck their way to the top, and they surround themselves with yes men and women, because those people are scared of getting fired, and they'll tell everyone what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And now we have a society that is weak, and it's unfortunate,
Well, without a doubt.
I don't know what fixes it. I don't know what.
I would think.
The scenario, but
I would
guess just turn to the good book and like actually make a stand. I think is what Americans need to do.
Yeah.
I don't know that they will though.
Well, I don't know how I would fix it all. I think that one thing is, I'd like to see more people be truthful. I feel like there is a level of, we all seem to lie to each other to get what we want. It's a little disturbing. Not everybody, but it seems to be the commonplace. We like you're talking about, like you saw a lot of weakness, and I think a lot of it comes from a lack of morals. Give me an example. Notice how like sports betting is injected into the element of sports, for God's sakes, and that pisses me off to no end. But you know what I mean? Like it's just like so many things that are really just kind of bad for you are being promoted as good for you. Basically, we're being convinced by society that a lie is the truth, and that's where it gets disturbing to me. And I know I sound like an old man.
Have you asked why? No, you don't. You sound perfectly like you've analyzed this in a logical fashion. The question I have for you is, why? What caused that?
Could be. So I have a couple theories. One, I do think that because we get such a dopamine rush from our smartphones through social media,
mechanism.
I think that
That's the mechanism.
exactly. I do believe that there are root causes because I think that everybody's got crap behavior within all of them, within everybody, including myself especially. I have to
So
stay.
sinful nature.
Yeah, and I think the problem is we're just embracing it and we're not trying to get away from it. For example,
Right.
I
You're
I
sinful by nature and by choice.
yeah, and the thing is, I think once people can at least be honest with, I think the thing is, instead of not just being honest with others, I think that we've also gotten to a point where nobody's honest with themselves. They won't
I
call
agree.
themselves out on their own bullshit. Like I make sure that I'm keeping myself in check because I am at the end of the day I'm my own babysitter. Everybody is. So everybody's got to kind of keep tabs on their own crap. So like I, for instance, like I like I like porn every now and then. I like to watch porn, but I keep that in check because I'm like, okay, if I do this too much, no, I got to stop this. I can't. So I'll, every now and then, if I'm like desperate, sure, I'll go to that. But like, I try to avoid things that I know are bad for me. Like, I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I know it's bad for me, so
So you can see that porn is bad for you.
yeah, exactly. And
Right.
if I do want to dive back into, just doing stuff like that, I'll make sure that just like with alcohol, I set a limit, and as long, and I don't know, I feel like I'm built a little differently than most people. I'm very analytical in nature, so I'm able to analyze things at a very strange level, but including my own actions. And it's a little frustrating. I'm not like saying I don't know if I'm a savant or something like that, but like I just have these abilities. And I know there's people out there that have these abilities too, but I think it just stems we got to be honest with ourselves and we got to write down what is good for us. We got to write down what's bad for us and then we just got to make a choice on what we want to do. And I think that helps out a lot.
I tend to agree. I guess where I would caveat on that is, do we decide what is good personally? Or,
Um
in other words, is what is good and just or wrong and bad?
oh true.
Are those subjective to your morality?
I would
So,
say it's a mixture of
eh,
two things. It's subjective and it's not. I don't believe it's a I don't believe it's a contradiction to say that either because there are societal standards and then there are your personal standards. You have to
well,
kind
at
of
one point,
and
eh, eh,
you
eh,
can blend both together, but um, it's a
you
little
can,
tricky.
but I can see how both can get very conflated very quickly, where you run into a situation where this self wants to conflate things that you initially know are wrong and not good for you with things that are good based on what you want rather than what you need.
Mm.
So, in other words, um, we can look at, like, the left keeps throwing around the term Nazis, right?
Oh yeah,
All the
yeah.
time,
Too so
right?
much that it's almost like it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. But let's analyze that. So, at one point, the Nazi Party thought that it was prudent and just, morally acceptable and prudent
Yeah.
to kill Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And they did that based on a sentiment of morality that was universally accepted and promoted in their culture at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
So,
Mhm.
subjectively, you could say that's right or wrong. But by what someone like Charlie Kirk would say, or a devout believer in what Scripture has to lay out, they would say that there's an objective measure there, not subjective. That
Mm.
some things are absolutely right and
Mm.
absolutely wrong. And the idea is we will all fall short on the objective measure, right? That's the whole point of the belief structure that Mr. Kirk was trying to present.
Yeah.
Is that everyone will fall short, everyone will fail, but it's like God dealing with an estranged child, where like you're a dad. I don't know if you're a parent, but like if you're a dad and your kid is doing wrong all the time, you still love this child.
Mm-hmm.
And you say you're always welcome here, but you have to choose to abide by the rules in my house to be here.
Yeah.
When they reach adulthood, right? So that child that wants to go out and do drugs and, I don't know, bang prostitutes or rob people or whatever they're into, right? Like, whatever one of those goes against your household rule structure, right, that you do not allow in your house, that's an objective standard that you would set. And it's the same way with what's right and wrong in the world in terms of morality. There's an objective right and wrong. And I think that's a lot of what's missing in society today is we can, you can talk about any given touchy subject, but there's an objective answer to it in Scripture and in the mind of, say, someone like Charlie Kirk, who followed that till he died. And that's missing from society today, where you've got one group of people that wants to twist all of these weird, wicked sentiments into something that's being just.
Yeah. Damn.
Right?
Man.
And it's done. Like, let me pose you a question to you.
Oh, I will say real quick, we got 2 minutes. It's gonna because we're only on the free Zoom, but we got 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So I'll let you say your final piece, and I'm gonna listen very intently.
Okay, if you wanted to bring this country down, how would you do it? Would you just dick around out here and go bang prostitutes? Or if you had some authority and power over the nation, would you inject bad ideas into the education system, into government, into international relationships, into the nuclear family, try to break that apart?
Yeah.
Try to pit white versus black, X versus Y, gay versus straight, rather than coming close to, hey, God says you're all fucked, but I've got a solution, right?
Yeah.
If you were the enemy, you would try to get us all caught up into some weird quagmire, and that would be that, right?
Yeah.
And that touches on what you were saying earlier. Like, if you were a strategic mind, how would you rip this country apart? And I think that if you really look at it, you're going to see all the elements of what you would probably come up with for that plan in play today.
Yeah.
Murdering of people that have an objective view of morality.
And that's why the government's got to be small.
Right. Yeah. In any case, I'll tune back into your live here. I know we're cutting off on Zoom, but it's been great chatting with you, and I'd be willing to do it again anytime, man.
Back at
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.
God bless.
Jits. That was awesome, my man. God bless, my man.
Yeah. All righty, buddy. Later on.
Talk to you later, bud. Bye. All right, that was cool, dude. We had my boy Jits on there. That was awesome. That was really cool, dude. Very wise. Very I gotta say, Mr. Jits, very wise dude. That was really cool. Very much an honor, by the way. Like, normally we don't have too many guests on the show. We try to have guests every now and then for sure. But Jits, very insightful, man. I tried not to interrupt him too much. I do have a bad tendency to accidentally interrupt. I try not to do that. I really do try to avoid that. But yeah, he was pretty cool, man. He did he struck a really interesting point, by the way, about subjective truth versus objective reality. So, sure, like, I guess one man's right is another man's wrong, but what is the actual reality of what's the reality of this? Like, what is the objective truth here? And that's where it gets very interesting. Because sometimes it's sad because we live in a world where we are being convinced that a lie is the truth. Man, it's too bad I was on the free version of Zoom because it only limits you to a certain amount of time per meeting when it comes down to it. But dude, my man Mr. Jits was very insightful. I'm going to sit down real quick, you guys. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. You guys probably won't be able to see me. Oh, I got to sit down for just a second. My foot's killing me a little bit. Give me another moment here. I'm going to take a look at the chat, though, while I'm looking at the chat on the laptop here. I'm going to copy and paste a couple messages real quick. Yeah, this has been a 3-hour stream. Really cool. We got a lot of subscribers out of the deal, too. So, that's pretty dope. But yeah, I will say to my boy Got Jits, man, you struck on some really, really cool points. Thank you for putting up with my my lowbrow way of talking, my man. I got to admit, my way of speaking sometimes can be a little crude. And I know you hear stuff like that. You probably say stuff, probably swear just as bad as I do, like you said. But I really appreciate you taking the time, brother, to talk to me. RK Leg said, my no-brow way. It is true. I don't really have any eyebrows. So it's like it's like my one low quality. I got like no eyebrows. Pretty lame. Eating some malted milk balls. Yeah, dude. God, Jits, you're really welcome, dude. You're one insightful dude. And I honestly want to thank you for just spreading your wisdom and really giving me a few things to think about, man. You gave me some good answers, and they were sincere, and I think I appreciate your sincerity the most. It's awesome, man. But yeah, everybody, I know that, give a round of applause wherever you may be. Give a round of applause for God Jits. And my man made some good points. Wise man. But yeah, rest in peace, Charlie. We miss you, buddy. Woo! But yeah, another shout out to Got Jit. Sorry, I had to sit down for a second. This is a standing desk that I call it a meth head style standing desk because it's literally my laptop on top. My laptop is on top of a little plastic drawer thing, and then beneath the plastic drawer thing is a green crate. So that's interesting. But it helps, gets the job done. Let's take a look at some more of the comments. I think I may have to call it a night here in a bit. I got to admit I'm a little bit tired. Unless now, if you guys want me to keep going, I will say this: I do have the ability to continue this. If you guys decide you want to give me some super chats, I appreciate it big time. I'll accept it with arms wide open. And I could probably keep the show going a little longer. But if there's no other super chats for the rest of the night, I am pretty beat. Very tired at the moment. But again, we got to give a big shout out to Got Jits. He spread a lot of wisdom during our chat, the chat we had together. It was fun. I think the one thing I appreciated was just honestly, he was just very kind to me. That's another thing. Thank you. Thank you, man. But yeah, like I said, I've had a very hard time processing a lot of this, and it's a tough one. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Jits, my man. I am, like I said, my feet are a little bit more tired than I anticipated. Oh, I'm trying to stretch them out actually, because I could stand for a long time. That's the crazy thing, and it is helping me lose weight, by the way, just standing up. So it's helping my posture a little bit too. It's making me look a little taller, straighter back. But yeah, I think probably gonna read a book. It's a good book. Totally Fulfilled. He's a very fascinating dude. Dean Graziosi. If you guys get bored, read this guy. He's got some very just a cool dude. I like this guy. Well, it looks like we don't have any more super chats, but hey, I want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel. Again, Got Jits, that was an unexpected. I did not expect to do an interview on this one. Thank you for encouraging me. That was really fun, actually. I gotta do more interviews like that. That was sick. Badass, basically, is what I'm saying. I still don't think he deserved that, man. And to those of you who are saying that Charlie was the bully, it sounds like you guys are the bully. And the thing is, everybody calling Charlie a bully, I honestly feel like they're projecting how much of a bully that they are onto Charlie. So that's the way I see it. So we got the poll. We have over 1,558 votes. So the question is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? 57% say yes, 33% say no, and 11% say unsure. If you guys want, please listen to the discussion that Got Jits and I had earlier. It wasn't that long ago, obviously, so just kind of rewind back if you need to listen to that. Because I think he offered some good solutions, and if you guys, it's like, how do you reason with evil, I guess, is another thing. How do you do it? How do you reason with evil? It's tough. Especially when that evil wants to end you. That's the craziest part about it. So. But I believe if we, I do think praying on things, I think praying does help, but I also believe that while praying, after you're done praying, try to tackle a problem. Pray, problem solve. Pray, problem solve. I think that could actually be a pretty good formula. Sometimes you have to source a higher power. Even guys like Da Vinci spoke to God when he needed to. But no, I do want to thank you guys for taking the time to view this. And Evil Tim Smith says, never pray. Oh my God. So we have fake Tim Smith, evil Tim Smith, and standard Tim Smith in the house. What a stud, dude. But yeah, again, I want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel. We're really growing at the most rapid pace I could ever have imagined. And thank you guys again. I'll catch you all later. I am going to get some sleep. I am beyond tired. Well, at least I'm going to get a little reading in, and then I'll get some sleep. But anyway, I'll catch y'all later. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be live streaming again tomorrow as much as possible. Just because, you know, I'm doing DoorDash part-time, but because I've been doing so well on these vertical lives, I don't want to stop the momentum. I want to keep doing more shows and see where it gets me and see where it gets you guys too. I really want to help everybody at the end of the day. I want to hear people's wisdom too. There's wisdom, there's something that somebody knows that I don't know and that you don't know out there in the chat. So we gotta try our best to listen. And I gotta do my best to stop talking over people. I try not to. I really try. It's one of my flaws. I'll admit it. Got Jits at 0156, my man, said, get some rest. God bless. Subbed. Thank you for the subscription, by the way. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats earlier as well. And thank you also for the fun and good, insightful conversation, my man. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, thank you. Thank you, my man. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later. I need to lay down my feet. Like I said, I was playing a lot of basketball earlier, and I've been standing for virtually 3 hours doing this show. And it's good for me. Standing up has been good for me. It's keeping me straight and fit. Straight. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Let's end the poll, though, real quick. Hold on, let me end the poll. So that way it's officially ended on there. But yeah, the results, 1,500 votes overall. 56% say yes, 32%, is free thinking in danger in the U.S.? 56% say yes, 32% say no, 10% unsure. And make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we have, the better. It really helps the channel grow. I appreciate you guys. If you can, give me a super chat. It can be a small amount. It doesn't need to be a big amount. But I appreciate any sort of patronage to try to keep this channel rolling. So, trying to do more shows, and honestly, you guys keep this show alive. Also, consider becoming a channel member as well. Only 99 cents a month. I'm going to try to do more exclusive content. I'm going to make an attempt, but first, I got to do content like this to really build up the base even further. So, thank you guys. Peace out. Whoop. A-Town down. Later, guys.